This is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show, a weekly broadcast that breaks down each Eagles game better than anyone else. The Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show is broadcasting live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken and is heard on both 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM and is brought to you by the Great American Pub, Independence Blue Cross, Penn Community Bank, Fogo de Show, and Hand and Stone Spa. We now go live to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome everybody again to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken, where we are happy to do the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show right here on 1490 WBCB 107.3 FM. I'm Paul Jolovitz, my co-host with a name like mine, but not exactly, Mr. Paul Domowitch. How are you, buddy?
Doing well, Jolly. How about you?
Very well. Very, very good night to be doing a show. Some fun this weekend. Our guest is a first-time guest in our show. Been trying to get him for a lot of years. Dealt with him in the locker room forever. Finally got him this week. A real good guy. Drafted out of Saginaw Valley State, as you can see by his shirt, back in 2000, what was it, 6? 5?
5.
Yeah.
Todd Herremans, how are you, buddy?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Todd called me on Wednesday. Todd likes to call and go on the record, apparently. And Todd called me. I answered the phone. He said, I got to tell you something. I wanted to go on the record before Sunday's game. I said, what's up? He goes, this is the week Johnny Wilson does it. How'd you know?
Just had a feeling.
Just had a feeling. So, guys, 34-6, not unexpected. Cowboys are a dumpster fire. We know that. Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones, building a stadium where the sun casts shadows on your own players. You don't put a curtain there. Stupidity, incompetence, everything else. What does this win mean, Domo?
I mean, they're 7-2. They've beaten 5 teams in a row that you can question their caliber, but it's still 5 wins. You can only play, as Todd knows, you can only play who they put on your schedule. Jalen struggled early, made 2 turnovers, and battled back and had finished strong. Defense, another strong game. We're going to find out a lot about this team in the next 3 weeks with Washington
Next 3 days.
and the Rams and Baltimore. But, life is good right now for them.
We're going to talk about that short turnaround with Todd and stuff like that. Obviously, Eagles won 5 straight games. Nick's reputation is somewhat back. Both coordinators are great. The defense has been fantastic. I said on WIP Saturday night, a defense that stops people to go to the next level has to start turning the ball over. They did it 5 times. What did you take out of it, Todd? I mean, you've been with teams that went on winning streaks against bad teams, and people doubt you, but it is what it is. They're looking great. These are NFL teams. They're beating spreads. They're winning by 20.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about it is, and it was a feel-good game. It was an exciting game, and the production that you saw was what we were expecting to see. But what I like about this little stretch of the run that we've been on is the defense has been steady and consistent through it all. And just getting the excellent play out of our back end, the defensive secondary, and then seeing the linebackers really come into their own, it's letting the D-line not have so much pressure to deliver up front. And also, if your secondary is playing well, you're going to get a lot more pressure. You get a lot more pressure, you get turnovers. So it's good to see that they've been steady on defense over the stretch.
Well, my favorite Eagle this year, and I think he's the most valuable Eagle this year, even above Saquon Barkley, is a fellow 4th-round pick of yours a bunch of years ago who was a very low-maintenance signing in the offseason by Howie Roseman. Forced 2 fumbles yesterday, recovered 1, went in the backfield. He's rated by Pro Football References or Stats as second-best cover linebacker in the NFL. The Eagles' defensive MVP, without question to me, Zach Bond.
Yeah, Bond has been a baller. Yeah. It's crazy to me. Here's the crazy thing about the NFL is you'll see something like this happen where he gets into the right situation with the right coach, right fit, and you're like, how is this guy not starting in New Orleans? How is he not on the field?
They didn't even know how to use him. They didn't even know he could play off-ball linebacker.
That's what I love about it. It's like, and I feel like that's what GMs are always trying to figure out is like they're trying to get that guy that's not doing anything anywhere else that fits perfectly and is able to just blossom. Dude, I agree with you. I think he's team MVP right now.
It's unbelievable.
And Vic has, Vic's Vic's everybody you can see now. The players are starting to understand his concepts. Everybody's getting comfortable. He's getting comfortable with. He knows what they can do now. I mean, he's taken Zach Bond, and he turned him into an off-ball linebacker. But now he's taking advantage of his pass rushing ability because they use him on zone blitzes a lot now. So I mean, he's using everybody's strengths. I mean, his and Nakobe Dean's.
Yeah, Todd, I want to ask you quick. We're going to get in this game a lot around the NFL, but when you were in college, the world is not full of draft picks from Saginaw Valley State, much less fourth round, which is pretty high. Were you coming out of high school, were you a late bloomer? Did you get offers anywhere else? What's your story?
Good question. Yeah, I think that I'd probably be labeled as a late bloomer. I wasn't as fast or strong as I had developed through college as I was at the end of my college career. So, yeah, probably just a late bloomer. I also went to a smaller high school, and the knock on me, because I went to a few Division I like visits and stuff, but just no offers. And the knock on me was I didn't dominate like I should have for the level that I played at because I went to a small school. So they thought that I should be just kind of overpowering everybody to make it to a D1A school. I guess it's just not my personality.
Well, you started 126 out of 135 games at guard for the Eagles. Tremendous player, played under some tremendous coaches. We'll talk about Stout and Howard Mudd in a little while. Guys, Domo first and then Todd, if you could. 4-day turnaround. It's obviously tougher for the road team. They only really get 1 day of practice if they have to travel on Wednesday. How tough is it? I mean, Thursday night games are generally not pretty affairs for anybody. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think they're better set up. I think they're playing better. Obviously, they can lose. It's a division game for first place. The Commanders have been tough. What's the toughest part about this turnaround, Damo?
I mean, I hate it that they're playing on Thursday because, I mean, this is a great matchup. And you just don't know what you're going to get on a short week. I mean, guys that might be able to play or be able to contribute if they had a few more days to rehab. Guys
Jordan?
that just aren't going to be able to play, huh?
Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who right now. I mean, I saw the list today of guys that did not practice, but that doesn't mean a lot. So you're just not getting. I mean, this could be a blowout. It could be the greatest game in the history of the world. You just don't know. I mean, I look at it and say the Eagles should win. I don't see Washington's defense being able to stop Barkley in the run. I don't see them stopping them. They got a bad red zone defense. So, but Jaden Daniels is a wild card. I mean, the guy's like on fire right now. I've never seen a rookie play like this. So who knows?
He's been very impressive. From a player's perspective, the way that I look at that is if we had just dropped this last game, the Thursday game is horrible. But we played well. We're getting things rolling. We were productive on offense. Had a great game on defense. Just we don't like practicing anyway. Let's get back to the next game. Let's keep it rolling.
Do you see this as a mini bye? I mean, you got to play Thursday, but then you get 10 days off. Is that the good part of this?
I think that's a great part of this because we had an early bye, I mean, which was needed because we were pretty beat up early in the season. But also with this short turnaround, it was good to see Slay back out on the field playing well, making some nice breakups. But like with that short turnaround, if he is a little sore or something, we have competent backups that can get out there and play as well.
When on a short week like this, they obviously have their quality control coaches that have been doing advanced looks at the tape and stuff. But I mean, how does that translate to you guys? Like, especially when you're going up against people that you like Daniels that the defense has not seen except on film.
So
how does that work?
I think that it would be. I think as a player, you want to get out there and just play. I think that it would be a lot more settling if this is the second time we're playing Washington this year on a short week because you already have an idea.
Right.
Like I was saying, as a player, you're excited to go do it. As a fan, I'm kind of thinking like game planning hasn't been our strength this year so far. And so that concerns me a little bit, especially going up against such an impressive squad for the Commanders. But I'm sorry, I just went off tangent.
That's how you scored. I mean, you scored early the last two games, some fast starts. That was a problem.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's coming together right now, and a lot of people talk about the two coordinators, Nick, Jalen, Saquon's been unbelievable. When you watch Sunday Night Football, NBC introduces the whole team, and they get to say something about where they went to school, or some players say something else. Todd went to Saginaw Valley State, but he got a master's degree at the school Jordan Mailata references himself from, and that's Stoutland University.
Oh, yes.
You played for Howard Mudd. You played for Jeff Stoutland for 3-4 years.
Castillo, too.
Juan Castillo as well.
Juan Castillo, who became the defensive coordinator. I don't even know what to say about that. I'll just leave it at that.
He was a good offensive
Good guy,
coordinator.
good man.
I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's all that there is to
That
say
is what
about that.
So Jeff Stoutland, I mean, is he the best offensive coach, line coach in the NFL? What makes him great? Obviously, you didn't play for everybody, but what's it like to play for Stout? And what did he do for you?
I love Stout. I was so fortunate throughout my whole career to play with just some of the greatest coaches of all time. From an offensive lineman perspective, Juan with his attention to detail and just his work ethic and stuff was exactly what I needed as like a Division II guy trying to make his way into the NFL. And then Howard came in with his like just very simple. If it feels good, remember it. If it doesn't, don't do it again. And just kind of like. You want to sit here and watch film all day? I don't either. Let's get out of here. Do you got it? Do you know what they're gonna do? And it was like right at the perfect time of when I was like kind of becoming a veteran, And then the way that I kind of view Stout is Stout came in, and kind of like it was his first experience in the NFL, so he kind of leaned on us quite a bit. But he also, I needed to lean on Stout because I feel like Stout saw me slipping as a player, as like a vet, and starting to like trend downward, and he would keep me after practice and be like, Todd, come on, let's do some of these drills. We'll get your hip pop back, and really put in the extra time and the extra work for me to be able to grab a couple more years. So, I was blessed to be with all three of those guys. Stout is as advertised right now. He's awesome at developing players.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about last week. He seems to have, to me, two defined skills. One, finding people, Todd Herremans, Fred Johnson, Jordan Mailata, obviously the number one. But then once you find that person, you got to develop him. Is he better at A, finding people, B, developing them, or is he an Einstein at both, and that's what makes him special?
Well, I think that you can't spend too much time looking for people in his line of work. So I think that he's really, really good at developing guys, and I think that's because he reaches his players on a personal level. He doesn't coach down to them. He tries to really create a relationship and then find out like what makes you tick, and then he uses that to help drive you and to get what he needs out of you. And just a special person, awesome family. Really happy he's in Philly.
I want to ask you, this is two different guys and how they reacted to coaching styles. I mean, Jordan Mailata, Stoutland's been in his face since day one, and he likes it. He loves it. He takes the, because he knew nothing when he came here, but he embraces everything. I mean, he loves Stout and has embraced him from day one. You were here when Danny Watkins was drafted,
yep.
and he, Howard Mudd could not yell at him. It just, we saw what happened there.
Yeah.
It just his reaction to criticism did not work out well. I mean, when you look back on that many years afterwards, what do you reflect on with Danny Watkins and Howard Mudd and how that went down?
I don't know, man. I haven't really put a lot of thought into that in a long time.
I guess you're still not in touch with Danny?
I haven't spoken with Danny in a while.
He's a firefighter now, isn't he?
I believe so.
Were you
not with any like intention. We just drifted apart.
Yeah.
Like I like Danny. Danny was a very nice person.
But do some people not respond well to that?
Yeah, I feel like Howard was a really good coach for a lot of people. I just don't think he was that guy for Danny.
Yeah.
He was that guy for Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
Who?
Some guy.
Yeah.
But like he was the perfect guy for Jason Kelsey. And I don't know if, Howard was here to develop Jason. I don't know if he was necessarily here to develop Danny by himself, and Danny just lost the wayside during the process.
All right, we got to take a quick break, but before that, I want to ask Todd one more question. Todd played with Jason Kelsey Jason Peters, a lot of great offensive linemen. There we are. I remember my first day, or Jason Kelsey's first day in the locker room. I was talking to him. Todd was obviously there in the back corner of the locker room. Jason Kelsey walks in here as a 6th-round draft pick out of Cincinnati. If I tell you that in 12 years he's on ESPN, his brother's dating the most famous person on earth, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's got an album with Stevie Nicks, you're going to tell me what?
Maybe.
You never know, right?
You never know.
You never know. We're going to find out a lot of other things you never know about. We're going to go over Saquon Barkley, find out if Todd likes to run block or pass block better. Damo, I know the answer already. My college roommate was an All-America offensive lineman. We're here at the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. This is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
With over 7,200 square feet of 200 brewers in stock at all times, Pat Dion Beverages now features 5 different flavors of their favorite slushy cocktails. You can also purchase all your wine, liquor, and other fine spirits right next door. Visit us on Facebook or online at patdionbeverages.com for upcoming events and samples from your favorite brewery or local food vendor.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome back to the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show, live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Chuck, Jerry, and Guy do a great job. Thanks for having us. We're here at 6 o'clock every Monday night. Don't forget you can watch the show live at WBCBSports.com and YouTube Live by searching WBCB Sports. I'm sure I speak for everybody in this room, thanking our veterans. God bless you all for the sacrifice you make and have made, and your families, and have a happy, healthy, and safe Veterans Day. And we love our veterans. Todd Herremans, an NFL veteran, is here with us. Damo, the Eagles are obviously a Super Bowl contender. We're talking about that on the radio today. If you say they're the second, third best team in the NFC, you could say that to Detroit. Obviously a contender. Is there any doubt? Whether they make it, I have no idea. Whether they win it, I have no idea. But a contender, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, as Todd knows, between now and the end of the year, everything depends on injuries and who stays healthy with clubs. But, I mean, if everybody stays healthy for this team, they're certainly capable of going deep into the playoffs.
They sure are. I want to remind you, Wednesday, our hockey show at Warrington with Jim Watson, 6:11, 6 o'clock Wednesday next week. Ken Dunnick, former tight end, will be here as we roll along on doing these shows, which is a lot of fun. Damo, the Eagles have won the turnover battle now 18 times, or won the game when they won the turnover battle 18 times in a row since 2022. It's pretty simple. More possessions, usually better field position. To me, it's the key to defense. Absolutely. You?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the old cliche about, you win the turnover battle, you win the game is pretty true. I think it's like an 86% success rate.
+3, it's 91%.
I mean, they've got, 10 in the last 3 games?
Yep. They're +1
had
for the
2
season
in the
now.
first 6. you know, coaches say they come in bunches, and I guess that's been the case. But you're just seeing a lot of these guys. Their corners are getting a lot more comfortable with anticipating things. I think that's going to help them add to their interception total. You know, Zach Baum seems to be everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, putting his helmet, stripping balls. They're in good shape.
I'm waiting for Q Mitchell to get a hold of one because he
Yeah.
has been in position so many
close.
times.
Oh,
He's a wide receiver that can't catch. That's what a cornerback is.
He has been playing lights out this year.
Lights out. Cooper DeJean too.
And he's such. I mean, like you can relate to this. Like he's from Toledo. I mean, that's not a typically
Played
a
in
place.
the Glass Bowl.
That's right.
You would not. Guys come from the Big Ten, the SEC. They're used to the big crowds. They're they're the guys that you think can make the transition immediately in the NFL if they have the talent. You know, you would think maybe a year or two before he really gets acclimated. That hadn't.
Instant
he hadn't
coffee.
need that. I mean,
and that's one of the things that I feel like is so promising about this defense is the youth of the secondary.
Yep.
Like, as long as you keep everybody happy, you've got a great nucleus back there where you can focus on replacing some of the D linemen that are going to, unless BG gives it another run.
Good play till he's 60. No sacks to the fourth quarter yesterday. Obviously, the Eagles emptied the bench. Got a couple sacks in the fourth quarter. Bryce Huff a strip sack. You get sacks when you beat offensive linemen. And they say you never ask a question in court if you're a lawyer that you don't know the answer to. So I'm going to pretend we're in court now because I know the answer to this question already, although I've never asked Todd this question.
Have I been beat? Yeah, plenty of times.
You've been beat. It's called being a human being. Would you rather run block or pass block?
Oh, man.
I'm thinking run block.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the game. Probably depends on who I was going against or whether I was playing tackle or guard.
Really,
I prefer run blocking at guard.
Because it's an action. You're going at him instead of he's coming at you, isn't it?
Yeah, but at tackle, there's something about the dance and being able to dominate this athletic specimen across from you and just shut him down. Like, I don't know. I always considered myself an athletic offensive lineman.
Well, that's
so
what Andy Reid drafted.
I enjoyed displaying that in pass pro, and rather than just kind of like road grader.
Yeah. If you didn't know, I mean, Andy Reid would draft all tackles basically, no matter who you are, and then move you inside if you needed, because you love tackles' feet and athletic ability, like smaller players. You're not very small, but what was it like playing for Andy? You were tackling college, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yep. I never played guard until I got to the NFL.
How difficult was the transition?
To guard?
Yep.
I had a great coach. I had Juan, and the way that Juan kind of phrased it to me is because I felt like I was being demoted, like moving inside the guard. I was a tackle. Tackles get paid the most money. They're taller. They're leaner. They're more athletic, and so I was like,
pretty boys.
Oh, now I got to be a fat guy, which I ballooned up that year and got pretty heavy. But I mean, the way that Juan explained it to me was like, Todd, think about it. He goes, if I could have 4 tackles on the field with a center, I would. He goes, because I just like athletic offensive linemen, and why wouldn't you have 4 athletes out there with someone to conduct a symphony?
Damo, we always talk about Jeff Stoutland, and
I was like, oh, okay, I can play guard.
You can play guard. I'll start. I'll get the big paycheck. Jeff Stoutland, Howard Mudd, obviously Joe Bugle, Jim Hannafin back in the day. Juan Castillo gets kind of, because of what Andy Reid moved to defensive coordinator, he became kind of a punchline, but he was a hell of an offensive line coach.
He was. Nobody knows that better than Todd. I mean, he was respected here. That was an unfortunate. I don't know
I remember
what
you.
you'd call it.
It would listen. If it worked out, it would have been one of the most historic coaching moves.
Well, I remember.
Time.
I remember. We got a text from Damo, the group text we were on, and when it was announced, you thought it was on April 1st. You thought it was an April Fool's joke, right? You actually said that. I remember to this day. This is some kind of joke, obviously.
Well, that's the thing is, like, in the meeting room, it really wasn't that crazy to me because Juan would always be like, guys, I'm not an offensive lineman. I'm a defensive guy. That's why I'm so good at being an offensive line coach. And so I was all like, checks out. You know, he was a linebacker. He played in the USFL.
But that's true with a lot of guys. You can
and
argue
so
a lot
he
of guys.
sees the other ball, and so then so then when they made that move, I was kind of like, well, he is a defensive guy, you know.
And there are plenty of coaches that, during the course of, particularly early in their careers, coaches bounce back and forth.
Todd Bowles was running back at Temple.
Yeah,
obviously.
in fact, it's good. It's to get exposure in as many different areas
full
as you can.
understanding about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think one of the things that hurt Juan, that thing just was, he had no shot at making it work because of a lot of things, including the fact that the coaches that he was working with, his name, the defensive line coach that
was that Wash?
Yeah, Washburn.
Jim Washburn, yeah.
Jim Washburn. He made it miserable for Juan. That made it
that was an
tough
interesting
going forward. But yeah, I always Juan does not get enough credit for the job he did when he was here, when he went to Baltimore. Everywhere he's been an outstanding.
The funny thing is
coach.
that whole D coordinator situation. It's not even in my like when you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. But like my whole experience was Juan as an offensive line
That's
coach.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then after he left here, he was an offensive line coach.
Yep.
You know.
Well, you look back on that small period of time. That was not Andy's finest.
Trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and he had the personal problems that were going on with his son dying, and they hire when Jim Johnson gets cancer and dies, and they bring in Sean. And, Sean's turned out to be one of the great coaches in the NFL, but he got fired here after 2 years because of a number of reasons. Andy, I'm not sure what exactly Andy was looking for.
Hard to follow a legend in anything.
Yeah, I think he thought that the shadow was too big for Sean, but so it was just not a – But
we're kind of plateauing here. You know what I mean? As a franchise, and he was just trying to get something in the Andy Reid era. He was just trying to shake it up and get something to work. And
this offseason, Harry Roseman decided to shake things up at a position to me was far neglected by the Eagles and many other teams in the running back. If you can get a great one, get him. Stole Saquon Barkley for the Giants, who, by the way, got his first win over the Cowboys yesterday. He's been the linchpin of the Eagles' offense.
Wait, he's never beat the Cowboys?
No. And Nick Sirianni obviously has switched the Eagles' offense, and Kellen Moore run heavy to pass heavy. You got Saquon, Jalen, AJ, Devontae, Dallas coming back, the offensive line. Guys, when this offense is humming and everybody's on their point, pretty damn hard to stop, isn't it?
It is, and it all starts with that line. That's why Fred Johnson's done an admirable job of filling in, but they get Jordan back. If everybody can stay healthy, that offense is going to be hard to stop.
And then they got a backup who's played some games. Obviously, depth is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what we've seen so far this year is that they have good depth, and that's what you need on the offensive line if you're going to go make a run in the playoffs. Because if something happens, you can't have a weak link up front. But I think one of the things that was hardest for Kellen to come into this year was that he had so many shiny toys to play with that he didn't know which one.
There's something to be said for that.
And there was a lot of it was hard to see a flow in the offense for the first few games. Yeah. And I was just screaming this whole time, just give Barkley the ball, give Barkley the ball, give Barkley the ball, and then run everything else off of that.
Or jump over people backwards, huh?
Yeah, impressive.
It looks like, too, that he and Jalen needed some time to kind of get on the same page with each other and know what, he had to know what Jalen did best and what, there are things that Jalen didn't seem to want to do, like throw to the running backs, get the ball out. Still, he hangs on to it too long sometimes.
Yeah,
but
like yesterday in the first half.
Yeah.
Obvious.
Yeah. They do seem to be kind of meshing now. Don't you seem to see that?
Yeah, I think so. I also think that the play call is evolving with this offense and this personnel a little better. I think that he's calling better plays to put his players in better positions. I could do without the quarterback powers. I don't need to see those anymore.
RPOs?
Yeah, we have so many weapons. We don't need to remind people that Hurts is a weapon. Just let them surprise people and say, "Ha, remember me?"
All right, my roommate John is sitting right over there. He played at Penn. You played at Saginaw Valley State. I'm sure John had this happen to him. I'm sure you've had it happen to you. It happened yesterday to people. When you hold a block for a couple seconds and your quarterback is standing in the pocket, dancing the hora, and stands there and then gets sacked or fumbles like Jalen, did you ever think, like, what the bleep are you doing, buddy? Throw the ball.
Oh, plenty of times, yeah.
Do you, the last 2 years, the league has made a point of emphasis on these illegal man downfield things, which have got to be driving the offensive lineman crazy because you can only go a yard downfield.
It definitely muddies the water for like RPOs and like the bubble screens and stuff like that. A lot of times you don't even know he's throwing it.
When you're running an RPO, you're blocking like it's a run.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And you can't like slowly get to the backer in case he does give him the ball. Yeah. You know, what happened, Todd? I don't know. I thought he might throw it.
And then you got guys like Jalen Carter defensively who are coming into their own right now, and he could become a wrecking ball. He already is a wrecking ball at times. I think he just needs to be consistent. We talk about the offense. Meanwhile, the defense gives up 6 points to any NFL team anytime, playing great, starting to create turnovers. What's the weakness in this team, Damo, right now?
Boy, there aren't many that I can see. I still think they need consistent. That's why I was hoping they'd go get some sort of edge rusher. I didn't expect them to make a big move, but Bryce Huff had a sack yesterday, but he only played 12 snaps.
Yep.
Which tells me that that Vic's not real confident in him as an every down defensive end. Or linebacker. So I don't know. I mean, if that's what I think would concern me, their pass rush on the edges. But I like where Jalen Carter's becoming a force inside. Jordan Davis has not been what I thought he would be, but he's at least been presentable against the run.
Yep.
All
right, we're going to take another break right now. When we come back, we're going to ask Todd something that a lot of people want to know. What's it like to be part of the brotherly shove, the tush push? It's an amazing thing. Eagles went back to it yesterday. It worked. See if it works in the future, what Todd thinks of it. This is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. We'll take a look around the NFL, Monday Night Football, and all that when we come back to the pub in Conshohocken right after this. Stay with us.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their Buffalo Chicken Spring Rolls or Maryland Crab Cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com. At
Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
All righty, let's continue our conversation and ask Todd Herremans. The Eagles' weaknesses, no perfect teams out there, obviously. The Eagles' weaknesses are?
To be honest, I don't think that they have a whole lot of personnel weaknesses. I think that if there is a weakness right now that could bite them in the butt down the road, it would be crucial game management decisions of like whether to go for
You're
it
talking about our coach?
or take the points. You know, I just
Ridiculous.
And also,
were you surprised when they had 4th
game
and
planning.
22?
I think they're getting better at the game planning. We'll see this week on a short week how well the game planning goes. But like, I feel like earlier in the season, our players were just being playmakers and making plays rather than actually being put in a position to win.
I was surprised when they had 4th and 22 in the first quarter that they punted. Joe DeCamera, one of our hosts at WIP, tweeted that, and I said I was going to tweet the same thing. Obviously, in a close game, you worry about Nick a little bit. Guys, was it?
I just think he's a little emotional, you know?
But you can't get emotional during a game. I mean,
That's
you
the
had to-
downside to taking away his offensive.
You were the
Yeah,
ultimate
dude,
He
non-emotional.
doesn't have anything to do.
Looking to affect somehow, right?
That's exactly right. Nobody likes to beat up a kid in a wheelchair, obviously. And the Cowboys are your arch rival. They're obviously not what they were. Their coach is a buffoon. Their owner's an idiot, talking about sun in the stadium. Was yesterday feeling like beating up a kid in a wheelchair? Or when you beat the Cowboys, you beat the Cowboys, and that's that?
No, you beat the Cowboys, and that's the team they put on the field, and they need to get better backups if they don't like what they saw yesterday.
Cooper Rush, Damo, how about it?
You know, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, back when they had all the other parts around him, you know, Dak could get hurt and Cooper could step in for a game or two and it'd be okay. But now when you actually, need him to do something, that was kind of embarrassing yesterday watching some of those throws he made. He bounced a pass to the running back that was it was just unbelievable.
He averaged 2 yards a pass, 2 yards a completion.
But that's an organization that looks like they're going to be a while.
It almost seems like a franchise that's sick.
Yeah,
like Washington was.
Well, they had
and then they got rid of the illness. And
who's
now
in
they're
worse shape, the
turning
Cowboys
around.
or the Jets right now, guys?
Oh man, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's the same thing. It's an illness with the franchise. It needs to be remedied.
I never, I thought. Everybody's deferring to Aaron Rodgers at the Jets. They seem to. You'd look and say there's enough talent there to do better than this. I look at the Cowboys and I can understand. They've had some of their key pieces hurt, but they just don't. Their offensive line isn't what it was 5 years ago when they were really, considered a team that could contend.
Parsons was coach under the bus.
They don't have a running back anymore.
Yeah.
Zeke's
they had
90.
the same running back, but he's just 91 years old.
Yeah, exactly. And, they got one wide receiver. They don't.
They got too much. It's a horrible cap management.
Yeah.
It's like.
That's what happens when your owner plays GM.
That's what I'm saying.
Great oil man. He's not a great football guy.
It's an illness.
Yeah,
yep, it is. It's an illness. I don't want Jerry Jones.
I don't mind it.
No, you
it's
never
okay.
wanted to sell the team.
Yeah,
I'd say. He's 80-some years old, so I don't. But his son's not much better as far as a guy that can take over that franchise and do anything better.
As much as we try to change them, our children are reflections of us.
People say I want Dan Snyder to sell the team. Like, what do you want him to sell the team for? Now look at him.
Yeah.
He has sold the team.
So that they can have success.
There we are. All right, Todd, you came from Michigan to Philadelphia. You stayed. You live in Westchester, doing some farming now and having a good time. And the Eagles are having a real good time with a thing called the brotherly shove, the tush push.
Yeah, they are.
Whoa.
Well,
have you looked at it and said, I wish I was a part of this?
No.
What would your role have been?
No. I did not like quarterback sneaks. The only time I liked quarterback sneaks was when we didn't call them and it was 4th and 1 and we didn't get it. And then I'd come off the sidelines and be like, why didn't we sneak it? Why didn't we sneak it?
What's the hardest part of that? Getting lower?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a melee that I don't enjoy being part of. It's like you get up off the ground and you kind of check everything out, make sure all your limbs feel okay, and you're good.
Now there's been a lot of questions about what makes it so successful. How much of it is the fact that they've got a quarterback with a lower body that could squat 600 pounds? How much was Kelsey and his leverage? How much of it was the rest of that line?
All right, so what is it? It's 92%? Is that what it is? It's supposed to be 92% success rate?
Which
on
is
4th and 1 or
it
less.
had been until last week.
So is it that successful for the Eagles, or are we just the ones that actually stick to it and run it? Because there's nobody else along the league that just says, okay, it's 4th and 1.
They will, because it's a copycat league.
But they haven't in 2 years, really.
Not a lot.
You know what I mean?
You see it sporadically. I saw it in the college game the other day, but that's it.
For it not being a rugby play, like Jordan says, it sure has suffered with him on not being out there, the rugby player, you know.
And Kelsey, the football player.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there was a big difference in it not having Kelsey out there because I think that, well, Kelsey's one of the most explosive people I've ever met for sheer size to weight ratio per power. And I think that he was just extraordinary at, like, bear crawling through these guys, especially if he had people behind him pushing him, right? Now I think what we do is we kind of lean more into the cave of the left side.
Yep.
You're seeing Dickerson and Mulata. That's just massive humans.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of barreling down and just caving the whole side down, and Hurts just kind of falls to the left every time.
All right. If somebody came up to you, I'm going to come up to you now and simply say, Jason Kelsey, the football player, and leave it to your stream of consciousness. You played with him for 3-4 years. You started to describe him there, but what made him what he wound up being?
Well, I don't. That's a big question. What made Jason Kelsey what he is now?
A Hall of Famer, yeah. Football side, forget the other
Football-wise?
stuff. Yep.
I think he first of all, he had a great understanding of the game, and he wanted. Okay, I'm trying to think of how to put this. So Jason was very smart, very cerebral, but also like not a nerd on the field, like one of the toughest guys that you could also meet on the field. So it was like where grit meets brains, and then gives you and also there's great athleticism in there too.
And coaching and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what makes Jason so great off the field is he's very authentic. He's authentically himself in any scenario, and people are drawn to that and they cherish that. Similar, I think that he was authentically himself on the field. He didn't try to be anybody else. He didn't try to be a 315-pound center. He didn't try to be overly muscular or anything like that. He just did what he could do. He could move. He could reach guys. He was very smart. He could see blitzes coming before anybody else could, and he made himself fit into the position rather than he made the position fit himself rather than fit into the position.
When Howard threw him out there that first training camp, and it was clear that he was going to be the starting center, I mean, what were you thinking?
Well, weird for me because Jamal and I are very good friends, you know. And when Jason came in, Jason wasn't really here to like make friends. He knew that he had like an uphill battle and that he was going to ruffle some feathers, and so he kind of had most rookies kind of want to come in and be cool and have people accept them and stuff. And I just remember Jason like having this attitude, like he didn't give a care what you thought of him. He was here for a job. And then eventually, like, you know, as you got to know him, that kind of like faded away and stuff. But yeah, it was weird because I was so tight with Jamal, and then, you know, Jamal's losing his job to this new guy that's just acting like he doesn't care if we like him or not, you know.
All right, Tomo. Eagles obviously 7-2, playing for first place, 3-point favorites. Defense coming together, playing great. Offense, you know, has the potential. Winning games by a bunch of points, hopefully healthy, getting healthier. The schedule, though, it ends pretty easy, but 3 pretty toughies here. You got this Thursday game, then you go to the Rams, which is no gimme. They play tonight on Monday Night Football. Then at the Ravens, a place they've never won. How important are these next 3 games?
Well, they're good games. I mean, they're going to find out a lot about themselves. I mean, they're fairly healthy right now, so I think they'll present themselves well in these games. But I mean, they need these 3 games to kind of find out where they are. You know, like you mentioned, the end of the schedule is pretty easy. They should, you know, I don't expect them to win all of these next 3. 2-1 would be terrific. I think somewhere they're going to trip. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out to LA and lose. You know, Baltimore's going to be no cakewalk. They've never. This franchise has never won in Baltimore since the Ravens have been in existence.
They've only played about 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when we lost down there. I think. When Ed Reed took it to the house on us.
Oh yeah.
Was that
Kevin
the
Cobb?
game where McNabb got benched?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a long game.
But they haven't listened. They got a chance. And Detroit last night, how about that? I mean,
Dude, two good teams. Both those ball clubs are playing well right now. It's crazy what like a few years can do for franchises and turn around.
Were you a Lion fan growing up?
No. The funny thing is everybody around me was, and everybody was also a Barry Sanders fan. So I was actually an Emmitt Smith / Cowboys fan. And now that I look back at myself, I'm like, weird. I was a Emmitt Smith Cowboys fan. I was a Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan fan. I'm surprised I wasn't a Yankees fan.
But it's interesting
I'm just a bandwagon kid.
You came here and you're supposed to develop a hatred for the Cowboys right away. You're not the first Cowboy fan, I'm sure, to play for the Eagles. How hard? What's the rivalry
my fandom wasn't that deep.
Okay.
It's like pretty much as soon as they stopped winning, I stopped cheering for them.
Bandwagon man, huh?
Yep, actually. Yeah, that's pretty accurate with that.
All right, Damo, around the NFL also, we're going to take a break. We're going to look at the Chiefs, who are killing everybody. 9-0, winning every game by 3. Won 9 games by a total of 58 points in this infinite world of stats. That's the least amount of points a team's ever won 9 in a row by. We'll take a look around the NFL, Monday Night Football, look at the Eagles and the Commanders Thursday night from the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff here at the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Got a nice crowd. Come on down and say hi to Todd. Final segment after this. Stay with us.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
All right, back here at the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff, a young Jason Kelsey talking to Todd Herremans, who is our guest, and Paul Domowitch here as well as our co-host. Todd just asked me a question, Damo. I'll let you guys chew on this one for a minute. Eagles are lacking a big-time pass rusher, a big-time edge rusher. Maybe somebody will develop, but somebody's already developed in Dallas and went to Penn State named Micah Parsons, who comes to Sixer games in Sixer jerseys, Philly games in Philly jerseys. I don't think it's much of a secret that he wouldn't be upset if he played for the Eagles. 3 years down the road, regardless of what happens with his next contract, Micah Parsons does or does not play one game as an Eagle at even money. Which way are you betting, guys?
I'd say there's a chance. They'd certainly love to have him, and he'd probably love to come here.
Yeah.
Why not have the Phillies get Mike Trout, too? Let's go all in.
Too hurt too quick. What about you, Tom? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious he would love to come and play in Philly.
I know fans would love to have him.
I've never seen someone from another team portray like they wanted to be in another city so bad, especially
Zach
a rival.
Ertz did a good job last night, coming up 3 inches short of the first down on the last. A lot of people think he's sabotaging the Commanders. Obviously, I'm joking, but what's it going to be like to see Zach here? Zach has not played. He's been around the NFL a little bit. Has not played back in Philly since he left. What's that going to be like to see one of your teammates?
He hasn't had a return game, huh?
Nope.
It's always weird to come back and play. We played I think it was a preseason game when I was in Indy back here in Philly, and it's so strange coming out of the visitors' locker room. And I don't know. It still feels, I go down there all the time now, and it feels like, home stadium. So just the fact that you were in I'm sure it'll be weird for him, but Ertz is a beloved Eagle. I'm sure that they'll give him a nice little ovation when he comes on the field and is announced or whatever.
And then the game will start, Damo, huh?
From an X's and O's standpoint, I mean, he and Austin Eckler are obviously big parts of their passing game, in addition to McLaurin. And the Eagles this year have really done a nice job taking away the tight ends and the running backs. And that's a credit especially to that linebacker
core, yeah.
Bond and Nicole.
So it'll be interesting to watch them defend Eckler and Ertz on Thursday night.
All right, guys, we're on the NFL. The Chiefs are 9-0. They found another way to do it yesterday. Andy Reid's team is blessed in some way. Mahomes having an okay year. The defense playing great. Yesterday was the special teams. Who's the best team in the NFL right now, and who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl if it's not the Eagles, Todd?
Ooh. I like Detroit.
They're pretty
I like
good.
Detroit this year.
Can't play much worse and win a game last night than they did.
Exactly. They're willing themselves to victories right now. They got a mojo up there. I like what Dan's done up there with the culture, and it's exciting. I know the people of Michigan are hungry for it.
Yeah.
All right, Damo, if I told you there's going to be a foursome at Augusta National, first day of the NFL playoffs of Matt Eberflus, Mike McCarthy, Robert Saleh, and name the fourth.
Not Jalen Hurts. He's
not Jalen Hurts. No, not allowed to play golf.
Doug Peterson.
I think Doug may be the first of those guys to go. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. I don't think Jerry's going to get rid of McCarthy until after the season.
Because he'd have to pay somebody else.
Khan, I don't know what Jacksonville would. I mean, he'll probably wait too. But if Doug, I feel bad for Doug. I like him.
Wait, who are the three in your foursome here?
Robert Saleh,
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus in Chicago. They've not scored a touchdown in like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And
when you're
Mike
relying
McCarthy.
on Joe Flacco, a 90-year-old. That's.
Is Saleh on staff in Green Bay now?
He's helping him out apparently.
Yeah, like the
Consultant.
advisor, consultant,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call
That's
it.
the best gig on the planet.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
No responsibility.
Well, you know what's great? All these older guys,
Like being the grandparent.
Dom Capers and all
still
these
getting paid,
guys,
too.
they become senior consultants.
Is Tom Capers still a senior consultant or something?
Yeah, I
like
forget
100
with
now,
who.
isn't
I
he?
think he's back with Carolina as a senior.
Well, that's why you got the
consultant.
senior tag now.
There we are. All right, one thing around the NFL,
It's a
Todd, that
discount.
after week 9, 10, whatever this is, depending on buys, one thing that's just shocked you this year, if anything, about anything, coach, player, team, fans, whatever.
One thing that has shocked me is with the new kickoff rules, there seems to be a lack of creativity. I don't know. I thought that we would see, to me, it seems like there is a more definitive line, and so therefore you should be able to burst through that line easier. But I'm not seeing a lot of big returns, a lot of touchdowns.
It's hard to get back to the 30, and teams are just kicking out of the end zone. Damo, anything
Well,
shock
I
you?
mean, they're going to change that rule because
Yeah, they are.
Clearly, it's boring. It's boring.
Yep.
It's you know what shocked me is
I
Jaden
think
Daniels.
you should move the kickoff back so that
That's what they have to do,
So that
yep.
like the touchback is a rarity.
Yeah.
Like you really got to boot it.
Yeah.
For
At
it
least
to be a
then you'd have
touchback.
people.
Especially if you have your defenders down there already.
Yeah.
You might as well back it up and
They
make
don't
them
even
return
move.
it.
Not allowed to move till the ball hits the receiver or the ground.
So back it up and make them return it.
How far would they have to back it up for Aubrey not to be able to kick it through the end zone? The end zone?
Yeah. What shocked me, I guess, is if you pick one thing, is Jaden Daniels. I mean, to see a rookie do what he's been doing so far. I mean, I don't think we've seen it since at this level. Maybe Robert Griffin III.
I know, but you know what?
Stroud had a
I
great
always
year
think
last
about
year.
this when guys come out as a rookie and they're on fire like that. I don't feel like they usually have a really long career.
Yeah. Because
Interesting. Robert Griffin got hurt. Stroud has had a tough but he has no offensive line.
But let's think about who else. Well, Wentz. Wentz came out on fire, right? And he's never really regained from injury. I feel like there's been a little trend like that where they get guys and they come out and they're a good college quarterback. They come in the NFL. Their rookie year, they kill it, and they're new on the scene, and then everybody adapts and kind of slows them down, and then they just kind of disappear.
Well, the guy I didn't think would ever
Or they
be
become like a 20-year
Well,
backup.
we saw that with Jalen in 2023. Everybody, after his success in 2022, the defensive coordinators went to the film
catch up
room
a
during the
little
offseason
bit,
and tried to figure out ways to defend him. And mostly it was blitz the hell out of him.
Right.
When you talk about Daniels, Tom, I'll say it again. The best quarterback in this class may be Daniels. I'll tell him take Michael Penix still when he plays in Atlanta. I never thought Caleb Williams was going to be that good. Said it forever. Don't like his mental makeup.
Yeah.
They're struggling right now. Is the secret to not have a good first year and then burst through?
I wouldn't say that. I think the secret is that we need to, and I know it will never happen, but I think what you need to do is you need to shelve these first-round QBs and let them learn for a year and adapt, maybe a year or two.
Like McNabb, Donovan?
Say that again?
He didn't play his first 8-9 games.
Yeah, like that. Like Rodgers.
Never going to happen. No.
3
I know
years.
it's never going to happen. You can't do that. You can't spend that much
Money.
on a pick and not see him for 3 years.
And then it moves him closer to free agency without it really getting a chance to take advantage of him.
I know, but I think I think that's the proper way if you want to have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, from that standpoint, one of the things that
also, sorry to cut you off, but also big splash early, big demand early.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Jaden Daniels, he's not going to play out this rookie. He's going to be screaming for the moon.
Yeah.
You know.
Expectations are a big word, aren't they? Biggest word in the English language, in my opinion.
What's more surprising about Daniels than a guy from the past, 10 years ago that would have done this, even RG3, is that you don't have because of the restrictions with the players union and stuff now. You can't get a rookie. You can't. An offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach can't work with a guy much in the off season, before his rookie year, and for him to just step in on that limited schedule and have the impact he's had has been impressive.
Yeah, he has been very impressive.
All right, Thursday night, guys. Eagles a 3-point favorite, division game. Washington's given them trouble in the past. Obviously, the turnovers are a key, a fast start, duh. How do you think this plays out? Is your gut that we're going to have a beautifully played game between two tremendous teams, Eagles on a roll, or slop Thursday night due to lack of preparation? What's your gut feeling, Todd?
I say that we're back here in front of the Philly fans, and the Philly faithful carry us to a 10-point win.
Nice. Damo?
I won't say 10, but I think the Eagles will win. I think I think both of these teams aren't going to get out of the teens, though. I think it's going to be
low
kind
scoring affair. A little defensive.
Yeah, I think defense is going to rule.
The over/under for Washington is
day.
23.5.
Yeah, although I'm interested to see if these guys can stop Barkley. I don't know. Their run defense isn't very good. They're allowing I want to say 4.9 a carry. I mean, he could light them up, and it could end up being a rout. Well, it'll be interesting.
Charles Barkley could have carried the ball yesterday, and the Eagles would have been fine. Saquon had 6 carries in the first half. Do they just have to start feeding him right away, just from the get-go? He's our identity?
No.
Why?
We've talked about this. I mean, you want to give him as many carries.
I'm not as concerned with touches as some people are. I just
play
play football, be alive.
The guy's 27 years old. You want him healthy in the playoffs, and you want him with 30 touches.
I want to win games, and if it takes
I don't think 30 touches, but I think that you could get him involved before the second half.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, well, I'm okay spreading them out, but I mean, I don't think yesterday was a bad thing for him because, I mean, it gave him a little bit of rest, especially coming into a short week.
7 yards to 1,000. Probably gets that Thursday night.
They can use him. The fact that was a
away
route.
from 1,000?
Yeah, 993 now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep, and he should get the Thursday night. Crowd will be great.
Gonna be
It'll
great.
be an amazing time. We've had an amazing time. It goes so fast this hour at the beautiful Great American Pub in
Especially with a great
Conshohocken.
guest.
With a great guest, and Todd Herremans, dude.
Thanks
We've
for
won you
having
for
me,
a long
guys.
time. It's been great having you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Damo, let's do it again next Monday.
bet.
And weeks to go. Ken Donick will be our guest next Monday. Thanks to the wonderful crowd here. Thank you for all our veterans. God bless you all. For Chris Ermer, who produced this show, Gus Barber back at the station. This has been the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Thanks to our waitress, Corinne. We'll be back with you next week. For Paul Domowitch and Todd Herremans, I'm Paul Jolovitz. Have a great week. Go Eagles!
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297.